Hey everybody, it's me, it's JoJo Napoli, captain of the kitchen, and I'm in the kitchen today. I'm going to be baking a banana bread for my son Andrew's birthday. So here we go. So we're going to start by preheating the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to be mixing together my dry ingredients first. Going to be using 1 3/4 cups of regular flour, and to that the recipe calls for 3/4 cup of sugar, but I'm going to knock that down to about a little bit less than a half a cup. And we're going to be using some baking powder. That'll be 1/4 teaspoon. And 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. So I'll just kind of eyeball it. And a little bit more. And that takes care of those dry items. I like to use a little bit of ground cinnamon. I happen to pull out 2, but I'm going to put just a dash of cinnamon. It gives it that little bit of flavor that you say, wow, that really feels good. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I will mix that up. So the dry ingredients are all kind of smushed together, the sugar and all of that stuff. And I will pre-butter the inside of my baking tin. So I'll use that. You could also use like that non-stick spray, but I like it all to add flavor and texture, and I rather use the traditional stuff, which is butter, and that so that the thing doesn't stick, the loaf, when it's all done. And then I like putting a piece of parchment paper on the bottom so it just pops right out. Next we get the wet ingredients, and I have 3 really ripe bananas. And let me move these over. Normally we would throw out, but because we have a special day today, I figured, you know what? Let's use them. Let's make banana bread. It's always a crowd favorite. And I'm not going to use a mixer or a blender for this particular recipe. I'm just going to do it by hand. This is one of those things. You don't need a mixer or a blender. So I'll take a fork, and then I'm going to smush all of these bananas up. They could have some chunks in them, but not too much where it gets too liquidy. It's okay if there's tiny little chunks of banana in the banana bread. Now I follow this woman who hasn't really posted a lot lately, but boy, oh boy, she's great with baking and that kind of thing. Her name is Stephanie Jaworski, and her channel is The Joy of Baking. And I got no affiliation with her or anything, but I love her techniques, her manner of explaining things. She has a lot of subscribers, a bunch, maybe 1 million. And she's great. All right, but you could see what that looks like, and that's about enough. 1/2 cup of butter, which is a stick. Beat it, beat it. Here's 1 egg, and there's 2 eggs. I'll beat them up. Okay, And there's that. And a little bit of vanilla extract. So this I'll eyeball, not too much. I don't want to make vanilla bread. Okay, there's your vanilla, and there's your butter. You don't want the butter too hot, because if the butter's too hot, then what happens is it cooks the eggs. And then you're making banana bread scrambled eggs. And that's it. That's your liquid. That's the basis of the banana bread, the wet ingredients. I'm going to add it to the dry. And I'm going to fold that in. And it gets, the batter is kind of thick. It's not really what you would think. But I do it all with a spatula. There you go. Put this in here. You can see it's lumpy, but when that cooks, that'll kind of melt. The banana will melt. This will rise. And we're gonna put it in the oven, and we're gonna cook that 50 minutes so I could check. And then what I do is I put a knife or something thin in there and see if it comes out dry. Then I know it's ready. Another way to know if it's ready, you see it start to separate from the sides. So I'm gonna wash the dishes. I'm gonna put a timer on to remind me to check, and then we'll come back and we'll show you what it looks like. All right, here we are. It's me again. And we're gonna take this out of the oven and see if it's ready. It's been about 55 minutes. I tell you, it looks good. I'm gonna put it on a wire rack. And that's perfect. You could see that the knife is not wet. So that's it. So I'm going to let this rest here for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to take it off the out of the pan. And we're going to enjoy it later. And, you know, I know everybody that's there likes it. So I'll wrap it up. I'll bring it there, and then they could distribute leftovers. But that's it. You got that beautiful crust, exactly as indicated. There you go. Banana bread for a party. Simple, easy, delicious. And you know, if there's anything video worthy now or in the future, I'll catch you later.